When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, YouTube. Today is Friday, March 6th. And according to Tommy, we are in our third Friday of Lent. Good morning, boys.
Good morning, fellas.
Where's the fish coming from today?
I woke up and that was the first thing I thought about as I walked into the bathroom out of my bed was, where am I going to get my fish dinner from tonight? And I think I'm going to go back to the old bread and butter, where I grew up, where I was raised, St. Malachy.
Ooh.
We're going to go to the St. Malachy Catholic School, Blue Bombers.
Been there a few times in my day. Anth, is the work on the house going to continue today?
It is not. It is not. It's still raining, and maybe Sunday.
Okay, well,
you might need to move because I'm pretty sure it looks 16 sunny out there today.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain, man.
Okay. It's okay. It's early. Anthony has plenty of time to get that patio ready for us for the summertime. So any friends of Anthony's, just know new patio this summer, new cabana, new fire pit. It's going to be a blast at the LaPera residence.
He's putting in sod too, I heard, all around the pool. So they'll be able to play and it'll be nice.
Yep.
Come on over.
Yeah. So guys, now we got a little housekeeping wrapped up. We got to dive into part 3 today. We've been doing a little mini series on costs, on the loan estimate, what it costs to get a mortgage. Not all costs are mortgage fees. We went over title fees last time, but today's the episode you got to be here for. Today's the section where we see those not so honest banks and lenders out there.
Scammers,
tricking buyers and realtors, frankly, into their costs to make it look lower at estimate when they know when we get to the actual closing that those costs aren't actually going to be true.
Yeah, I wanted to start here. You guys told me this had to be part 3 because I think it is the most important because it's where you hide everything. Mm-hmm. Literally everything is hidden in this section, and it's kind of scary that people just overlook it. They get an estimate from a lender and don't even care that there's 2 months taxes. Like, that's a real thing. It's kind of embarrassing too. I don't know how else to put it. This part is the most important part and needs to be caught every time.
I couldn't agree more. Anth, we've been talking about this for a little while. When it comes to escrow and days interest and homeowners insurance, these are all items that really can be fudged for the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate because, who you work with matters. And we say it all the time, whether it's the agent or whether it's the lender, somebody that's going to go over this with you and tell you the actuals, hey, you believe whatever you want, but the costs are going to be the same right before closing. You're just going to find out too late that you have to bring a couple $1,000s more to closing than you originally anticipated. So whenever we're going over this is the items that you definitely want to look out for, as a buyer. And if you're an agent, you want to look out for these costs on the lender's cost sheet for your buyer.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. And let's pull it up. Tom, you start first.
Gotcha. So going down, we're looking in that right-hand column. We killed the left-hand column last week. And we need to, if you need to rewatch that, we'll go over it with you again. But that right-hand column is where we're at and what we need to focus on. So the recording fees up there and those government fees, these are non-negotiable sets of fees up here in section E. They are the recording fees. You got the deed and the mortgage that need to be recorded at the courthouse. Those are both included in that 376, as well as the transfer taxes. So in the state of PA, we do require transfer taxes, and typical transactions, that's 0.5% to the state, 0.5% to local for the buyer, but the seller also has to pay those as well. And I know we've gone over transfer taxes many of times on this podcast, so we're not going to dive totally into that, but they could differ. And it's always split between buyer and seller, leaving the typical transaction to be 1%. So I'm guessing this is a $300,000 purchase with that $3,000 transfer tax here. So that would be those first two costs. The next one is the prepaid items. And this is the section that, you know, has some variables, but not as much as section G that we're going to go over next. The prepaid items are your homeowner's insurance. There's not one foul in this entire country that you're not going to have to pay 12 months of homeowner's insurance up front if you're doing an escrow. So you always will pay 12 months up front in that prepaid section. The next,
Tommy, though, let me stop you there because I had one last week that I was comparing. The lender had no homeowner's insurance because they said they were going to pay it outside of the closing, as if it wasn't going to be a cost for them buying a mortgage. It literally said zero for homeowners insurance. Oh, because the lender told me just to pay that when I get my premium. Guys, you can do that, but it doesn't matter where you pay it. It's still a cost of you buying the home. So that was a newer one, but that was one I wanted to point out I saw last week.
Can you mention that lender on this screen right now so we know to never use that scumbag? Jeez, oh man, I've never heard of that one. But going down from there, the next part is that prepaid interest. I know everybody on this screen and most people at West Penn Financial are using 30 days interest. Why? Worst case scenario. There's not more than 30 days in that month. So we know that that is the maximum days interest, and we're showing a worst case scenario on our cash to close bottom line. I see 1 day interest in there. I can't tell you how many times. That's literally changing the cost on this exact loan, $1,330 cash to close, because someone who's being a scumbag. I think scumbag's the word of the day for me.
Tommy, and it's, I mean, Anth, you can chime in here too. What folks need to understand, it's up to the loan officer writing this estimate. Do they want to give accurate costs or do they want to give baloney costs? If you're showing 1 day interest and you have no idea when the closing date is, that's a scumbag right there. That's Tom saying, I'm going to artificially lower my costs to try to make the numbers look lower. 1 day interest is a crime, or should be, but it's not really.
Yeah, and even on that same topic, I mean, whenever they're given a pre-approval, if they happen to give an estimate of cost for the buyer to be able to compare and shop, all that's doing is showing, hey, their costs are lower, so I'm going to go with them. Are they, though? Because they don't even know when your closing date is. You don't even have an agreement of sale. So if you end up closing on the first of the month, 30 days is going to be held and you're bringing $1,330 more to closing. But you're not going to know that until the lender updates their final and you get your final number from that lender. So having the cost up front is helpful.
Well, that scumbag too. $1,330 just on the prepaid interest. He also just housed you for, I'm sure another, I don't know, $1,500 that you're about to go over here in this next estimate too.
For sure. And this is what we want to focus on. If you're that pro agent, if you're helping your client out and you're looking at the estimate, we need you to see these red flags. 1 day interest, no homeowners insurance, transfer taxes being wrong because they're very unique to our area. All of these items are red flags, and it doesn't matter what you put on this estimate. They are going to be corrected and adjusted to when you get to closing. So that's why we need you guys as our eyes and ears to try to help out. And like Tom said, we haven't even gotten to section G yet, which is where you have to set up your initial escrow, where we see the most egregious items happening. Because as you can see down there in escrow, this is where we set up to pay your taxes and insurance for you. Everyone knows you need an escrow account if you put less than 20% down. And everyone should know in Pennsylvania, taxes are paid ahead of time. So when you buy a home, not only do you have to set up your initial escrow account, but you have to repay the sellers for the taxes they've already paid because they're not going to own the home anymore. So we have to do at least 2 months extra of homeowners, and we start at 12 months of the property taxes. It's not our job to confirm the escrow. This is title company and tax collectors. But Anthony, Tom, we will see 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months of property taxes in here. And someone will say, oh, Ryan, I'm going with so-and-so because they're $3,000 less than you. And it's all fugazi.
Yeah, this is definitely a section that people need to look out for. I mean, even though, we use 12 months, like Ryan said, it's to cover 2 items. Any taxes that the seller has already paid on this property moving forward from the closing date into the next year is due back to them at closing. That's part of the 12 months we're showing. The other portion is actually going in to start your escrow account so that you don't have a shortage whenever your taxes come due from your escrow account. So when we see, clients being shown, say 6 months of tax escrows, but they forget about the prorations to the seller, well, the lender will say, oh, well, that's not our fee. That's on the sell side. Well, it's still the buyer's cost, and it should be shown appropriately so the buyer's not surprised right before closing that they're bringing another $2,000 to closing. But this is the stuff that we see, on second looks all the time. And, it's unfortunate because some people turn a blind eye to it and they shouldn't, and it's the buyers being hurt at the closing table.
And let's say this again, just because we all quote 12 to show your buyer's worst case and someone else quotes 1, it's all going to be the same at closing for every lender. It doesn't matter what is quoted at the beginning. That is so just because we quote 12 doesn't mean your buyer's going to need all 12 months of escrow. We just know that's going to cover them as a worst case.
Yeah. I mean, who you work with matters. The burglars hang out in section F and the murderers hang out in section G. So you don't like to hang out with those guys.
No.
Hang out with us.
It's that simple. Understand the costs. Our 3-part series here goes over every section of the loan estimate. There should be no questions. If you are a realtor out there helping your buyers look at estimates, you got to know what you're looking at. If you don't know what you're looking at, it's really not helping anyone.
And if your clients aren't getting an estimate from their current lender providing these costs, they need to call West Bend Financial. All right. Couldn't be a better time for a second look to get a look at what the actual costs are going to be. So
great stuff. Great stuff all around.
Stuff. We do have the world champion Riverhounds opening up their season tomorrow in the USL. So I just wanted to let you know the only Pittsburgh winning team in the last few years is starting their season tomorrow. So I want to throw that out there.
Steelers went to the playoffs, but okay. I'll
What? Fired their coach.
See you guys Tuesday.
They both fired their coach. That's all good.
Later.
See you guys.
Tom, Ryan, and Anthony, oh, they know best.